2 days ago, instead of accepting Jordan Love's 5th-year rookie option, they decided to give him a 1-year extension. And those full contract details did just release. So in today's video, I want to go over Jordan Love's contract as well as give you guys an update on the Packers salary cap, as also 2 days ago, they did restructure Darnell Savage's contract. Jordan Love's 1-year extension was a 1-year extension worth up to $22.5 million, preceding that 5th-year rookie option deal that would have been just over $20 million. Now, the difference here is this 1-year extension only includes $13.5 million fully guaranteed, whereas that 5th-year rookie option deal would be all guaranteed. So I mentioned this in a video a couple days ago. I thought this was a great idea by Brian Gutekunst and Russ Ball, and as we go into the details here in a second, it just proves that. This is a wonderful idea by the Packers front office to really cover themselves, as well as make sure they have enough time to evaluate Jordan Love without breaking the bank. Because there's a couple ways this could have went. If the Green Bay Packers decided to decline Jordan Love's 5th-year option, yes, he could have went into this year and not played well, and that would have been that. They wouldn't have had to spend any more money, and they likely would have spent 2 of their first-round draft selections, or if they were that bad, already be in a position to draft a quarterback in next year's draft. But if he goes into next year after declining that 5th-year option and plays really well, then you're in a spot where you have to extend Jordan Love just after 1 year of play and likely give him $30+ million annually. And if they were to accept the 5th-year rookie option and he were to play bad next year, then you have him at a fully guaranteed $20+ million contract in 2024, when likely you would draft another quarterback to replace him anyways, and you'd be paying a backup $20 million. And that contract is worth up to $22.5 million. It can be as low as that $13.5 million. So if Jordan Love does play really, really good next year, and hits all those escalators, then yeah, he'll maybe be making $22.5 million in 2024. But that'll be okay because Jordan Love is what you thought he would be, and he's your starting quarterback of the future. And at that point, the Packers would likely hit another extension with him within the next year of that anyways. Now, if we bring up Jordan Love's contract here on the screen, we will see that 2 things have changed. Obviously, the one of which that he has signed through 2024, and also in 2023, his money changed up a bit. So they actually pushed some of that money into this year. Prior to this deal, Jordan Love was set to make right under $3.9 million cap hit against the cap. Now that has jumped up to $11.4 million, and he's receiving $7.5 million of that extension this year. So what this also does, even better, is this year his cap hit's $11.4 million, and next year it's only $10.3 million. So they're splitting that up between 2 years. And yes, that could raise due to escalators. And you might ask, what are those escalators? And it has been announced that it is tied to playing time, team wins, team stats, and other parameters, which could then boost his base salary to $14.5 million in 2024. We see here it's at $5.5 million. So it could boost that another $9 million. So then if every single parameter was hit, and that includes team wins. So I don't know what the exact number is, but let's just say it's 11 or 12 wins. Then you're looking at a good Packers team anyway. So if you were to add $9 million to that, yes, his cap hit would be $19 million, but that is still extremely affordable for a good starting caliber quarterback in today's NFL. And like I said, it probably wouldn't even stick at $19 million. They might keep it that way, but they would likely give it a further extension anyways, and maybe spread that out some a little bit. I just love this extension that Brian Gutekunst and Russ Ball gave to Jordan Love. I just think it covers all bases, and it makes sure that the Packers have enough time to evaluate Jordan Love, but aren't going to be paying a ton just in case if he doesn't work out. Honestly, I think it's just executed perfectly. Now moving on to Darnell Savage, we know they did accept his 5th-year option. So here's where the problem you run into. So where, you think you're in a good spot accepting the 5th-year rookie option, and you're going, this is a good idea. We have the player we like, and the Packers did that with Darnell Savage a couple of years ago. Then Darnell Savage had a very bad year last year, and a lot of people were saying, the Packers should move on from him. But they accepted that 5th-year rookie option, which included $7.9 million fully guaranteed. So the Packers couldn't cut him, or they would just lose out on that $7.9 million. And it's hard to trade him because a team has to take on that $7.9 million. And in order to do that, for a player like Darnell Savage, the Packers would likely have to give draft picks plus Darnell Savage just for another team to take on his contract. That's not going to happen at this point. They did just restructure his contract. They only drafted one safety in this draft, Anthony Johnson Jr. in the 7th round, who I do really like, but there is some reports saying that Darnell Savage is going to have a heightened role in the defense this year, which I'm a huge supporter of him. He grew up right around from where I'm from, and yes, he had a couple down years, but I do think it is okay to give him that one more chance, considering he's already on the team. We're already paying him. At least give him another chance, and if he turns it around, great. If not, he'll be off the team next year anyways. So bringing up his contract, we'll see some of the usual we've seen in the past couple of years for the Green Bay contracts. We'll see in 2023, his cap hit down all the way to a $2.4 million. It was at that $7.9 million mark. Now it's at 2.44. They added 5 void years onto his contract, roughly at 1.3 million per year, but that will all escalate into next year when he's not under contract anymore, and he will have a cap hit or dead cap of $5.456 million. So next year, if the Packers don't bring back Darnell Savage, very similar to the Adrian Amos thing right now, they're going to be paying him $5.4 million regardless. So right now, the Green Bay Packers have roughly $10 million overall in salary cap space. Now, all the rookies still have to be signed, so this will go down a significant amount, probably roughly around $6 million, considering the Packers had 13 draft picks, but not all those players will count towards the salary cap, considering they won't be in the top 51 of the contracts. Now, looking into 2024, the Packers are going to have some big decisions on their hands in regards to the salary cap. Some of the top contracts they have, one of which being David Bakhtiari at a $40 million cap hit, $40.5 million cap hit almost. Kenny Clark at a $27.5 million cap hit. Jair Alexander at $24 million. Aaron Jones at $17.7. Preston Smith at $16.5. And Devondre Campbell at $14.4. I just wanted to cover this really quickly since David Bakhtiari's cap hit is at $40.5 million next year. I don't see that staying the same. I feel like this could be the last year of David Bakhtiari in Green Bay, and the Packers, will likely move on from him next year just due to that salary cap. They've been pushing out money year after year, and I think it's finally time to just pay up and, get rid of that contract. David Bakhtiari, like I said, has a $40.5 million cap hit next year, but cutting him, and this is pre-June 1st, saves them $21.5 million off the cap and incurs $19 million dead. And that's the same for a trade, so a cut or a trade would save that amount. So yeah, the Packers are going to have a decent amount of decisions next year to do, but they're not going to be in that same loop of having to push out money. I think they're finally going to end that, and that's due to not paying a quarterback $40-50 million. And obviously, if Jordan Love is what he is they'll end up doing that anyways in a few years, but for a couple of years, they should have a decent amount of money to play around in free agency and things like that. But that about does it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you are new here and want more Packers news, analysis, and updates throughout the entire offseason, such as salary cap, minicamp, OTAs, and all that, it'll be right here on this channel. So if that does interest you, I'd really appreciate it if you went down and click the subscribe button. But I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Pack Go.